Hey, my name is Brant. I'm one of the pastors here at Wallen Lake Community Church, and I actually grew up in this community. I got saved at this church, and so it's such an honor to be here and to be serving the people in the church in Wallen Lake. But one of the things I remember recently that happened is I had the chance to take our students to our sister church in Haiti. Our church has a partnership with a church there, and we not only pray for each other and encourage each other in ministry, we support each other and we visit each other pretty often. And so one of the trips I was able to take a group of students there to partner with the ministry that's happening there and to see what's happening and really for our students to grow and learn what's going on beyond just the walls of this church and American Christianity, to see what God's doing in His church in the whole world. And the whole trip was amazing, and one of the goals that we had when we were going there was really to partner with our sister church and to support them and to visit them and encourage them. So there was a lot of amazing things that happened in that throughout the whole trip. And one of the things that really specifically highlights in my memory was right at the end of that trip. We were delivering food boxes to the needy in that community. We were going out with the elders and the deacons of the church to kind of represent Jesus and His church to the community. But by the end of that, there was something that just sat on my spirit as a little heavy, that we had not actually, at least yet, shared the gospel with anybody. So we had addressed this physical need, but I really sensed that we had yet to address a deeper spiritual eternal need. We needed to be sharing the gospel with somebody. And in that moment, I remember that this passage was put on my mind, and the Lord just gave me 2 Kings chapter 6, where Elisha was surrounded by an army that was bearing down to kill him, and his servant was freaking out, and he basically said to his servant, there's something bigger going on, and he prayed. God opened his eyes to see what's happening, and God opened the servant's eyes to see just heavenly chariots surrounding the army that was surrounding them. And I just remember thinking, man, God, you're doing something bigger than what I can see right now, but help me to see what you're actually up to right now. And so in that moment, I just felt this fire in my bones to say, we need to share the gospel with somebody. Let's talk to somebody. And literally, there was somebody just walking towards us. It was a normal person. Wasn't anything special about the moment, but I just asked our translator, hey, can we talk to that person? It was literally the first person we saw. And so he pulled the truck over, and we just got out and said, hey, can we talk to you about Jesus? And we started sharing with her the gospel. And she got to this point at the end when we were sharing the gospel with her. I asked her, would you want to put your faith in Jesus and trust Him as your Lord? And she said, I'd love to, but I can't. And I was like, well, why? Why can't you? Because she said, just the normal things of life, busyness. I got some other things. I got kids. I got debts to the devil. And I was like, wait a second. And I asked the translator, can you ask her about that last thing, like the debts to the devil thing? I don't think I've heard that before. And he basically told me, she owes a lot of debts to the devil, and so she feels like she can't really get out of them, or else the devil's going to come and make her pay for it. And I basically said to her, you realize that if you put your faith in Jesus, if you trust in Jesus as your Lord, He paid it all. You no longer have to be enslaved to the devil, but you'll be set free from all those debts by Jesus because He covered the debt. And she said, yeah, I'd love to put my faith in Jesus, but we were still in the middle of the road at that moment. And so she said, let's go to my house to do that. And so me and some of my students and the elders of the church and the translator, we all walked to her house, which is really more of a little room. And we shared the gospel with her. And when she prayed to receive Jesus, she opened her eyes, and it was almost like there was this sense of liberation, this cloud or this fog over her was gone, and she was really excited, and we were really excited, and we were walking away from that moment, and one of the elders of the church said to us, I can't believe that just happened, because we've been trying to share the gospel with her for years, and she's been resisting because she's the local witch doctor. And we just looked at each other in disbelief. She looked so normal, but God just used us to lead a witch doctor to Christ. And so we were buzzed about this. We were so excited. And it was like this exclamation point at the end of an amazing trip already. And so I'll never forget that moment, because I think what happened was there was a spiritual energy that was captured in that moment where we left Haiti the next day. We get home, and it wasn't really the end, because what happened after that, what happened after what God did when He showed up, was things were actually different. And so we get home, and the amazing testimony that we saw happen of what God did in somebody's life actually led to a lot more testimonies, because as soon as we get home, it didn't end. Like, more testimonies started happening in the lives of our students, in the lives of our church. Like, our students actually didn't just like stay there stuck spiritually in that moment. They actually used that as a catalyst for the rest of their life to encourage other people to follow Jesus. And I would show up to church and I would see like crowds of students just sitting together, writing sermons together. Like, the doors weren't even open, they were locked, and they were just sitting on the front porch. And I'm like, you are all so nerdy, and I love it. And so what happened is one testimony kind of turned into multiple testimonies, and then we had these worship nights at our church, and all of our students who had been impacted by those students who had gone on this trip were now sitting in the front rows of the church during our worship nights. And everybody else in the church was like, what has happened? Like, they had so much faith, and then the testimony of their faith actually encouraged the faith of everybody else in our church. And so I'll never forget that one moment, because it was such a cool moment, but it led to so many more cool moments. And I thought that was just such a beautiful testimony. I think one of the things that stood out to me in that moment was how normal it was. That moment when we were sharing the gospel with this witch doctor, she didn't look like a witch doctor. She was just wearing normal shorts, flip-flops, and Adidas tank top. She looked so normal, and yet it turned into such a heavenly, divinely inspired moment. It was just such a powerful, packed moment. And I think about the journey that we're on in our lives. Like, she was just walking down the road, literally on a road, on a journey, and God interacted with her in such a powerful way. But it was just such a normal moment before that. And I never want to forget just the normal moments could be opportunities for such a divine moment. And I always want to have my eyes open to what God is doing in this moment, because when eternity interacts with this one moment, like, everything changes. But I'm not going to really notice it if I'm not looking for it.